Well, for me, science is about essentially understanding their world. So, and that involves being curious about it, wondering about it, figuring out how things work, where things are connected to one another, that sort of thing. And because our world is so wonderful and there's so many amazing things out there, I kind of figure that curiosity is inevitably going to bring you an interest in it, and it's going to make you want to be part of it, want to understand it, and love it and respect it. And that's that wonder about the world, which essentially what science is all about. And it's kind of beautifully links in with the Te Ao Māori perspective, which is all about that respect for nature and an appreciation for the interconnectedness of human life and our natural world. So science for me is wondering about the world, loving it, caring for it, and engaging with it. I think it's because the kaiko, they lead that curiosity. So their interest, their curiosity, their wonder, it's role modeling for children. I mean, we already know children are curious beings anyway. They want to find things out. They're the ones that are seeing things for the first time, right? And that's what's so wonderful about working in early childhood, because you're engaging with things for the first time with them. So that wonder, that curiosity, that role modeling, all of that, I think, is what's really, really important for kaiako to do, and not be scared of it at all. And we've talked about this a little bit about science being as an academic subject, and certainly when we go through secondary school, it becomes scary, but it doesn't have to be at all. Loads of things, but essentially asking questions, being curious, wondering, leading that engagement in the world and understanding it. So starting from there in the first instance. And that will, through that role modelling, create a culture of inquiry. So if we have kaiko asking questions, kaiko interested in engaging with the world, then I think that will lead into children doing the same thing. Lots of opportunities. So you can do things through provocations, so bringing in some provocations. You can do things about the resources you provide. So one of the lovely resources that came through in my research was having an insect basket. So that's a basket outside that has maybe some pens and paper, might have some magnifying glasses, and you could perhaps have a digital camera or your phone available. Sometimes you can have a bug catcher of some sort if you want to, but that's a conversation. That's actually a really nice conversation to have with tamariki. You know, ethically, are we okay about catching insects, or would we rather that they stay in their natural environment and live their lives? And so we just watch them. Do we need to catch them? But in that process, you're getting children to take a moment to observe what's around them, what's going on in the garden outside, using the magnifying glasses to look closely, really see how many legs have they got. Is this spider, if it's a nice big hunting spider, is it a bit hairy? If it's a weta, is it a male weta or a female weta? And you can distinguish those, and having a book, so maybe having a couple of insect books in that basket so you can easily identify insects. Andrew Crow's Insects of Aotearoa is a fabulous book. It's got beautiful pictures, life-size pictures, so they're the actual size of the insects, so you can identify them, and that's quite a nice way of bringing in that curiosity and that wonder in an easy resource that you can put together and have out there. Having a microscope inside or magnifying glasses inside, you can have an area that's your science area. So there's equipment specifically for being a scientist or finding stuff out. You can think about the way you bring in your resources, and if you specifically identify them as having a place and being equipment for being a scientist, then you're setting up that culture of inquiry and that expectation that these are special pieces of equipment that we use for this sort of stuff. So I think those are quite useful. Science walks. One of the centres in my research, they brought in a bushwalk. So they had an area near their centre, and they had 5-year-olds staying on. So they created it as something that the 5-year-olds did. So it was a neat thing that the kids looked forward to when they were older, and they set up little backpacks with magnifying glasses, and they had pieces of paper and clipboards and pencils, and when they went to the bushwalk, and because they went to the same place regularly, they could see it through the seasons, and they could sit and they could draw and they could investigate, and again, that creates a sense of kaitiakitanga, looking after the area that the children, the tamariki, are there for and engaged with. So I think there's so many ways that you can bring science in, and it doesn't have to happen through experiments. It doesn't have to happen just through the volcano experiment in the sandpit, or by bringing in some, baking soda and vinegar and having, bubbling over. Science isn't just experiments. It's engaging with the natural world in many ways.